y'all, how you perking? I hope you perking good. So, angel numbers video, repeating numbers video, numerology video. Why in the hell am I seeing 111, 1111, 444, whatever the hell, all over the place? People have been asking me those questions for months and months now, and so here is the video, finally getting into it and answering that for y'all. We're fixing to dive in. But first, of course, I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and in these videos, we take a look at the tea with the tarot, and these videos are always meant to be helpful, not hateful, so if you're down with that, join the family here. We'd love to have you, and in addition to subscribing and tapping that notification bell below, you can become a member of the Perk Squad for 5 extra perks, including exclusive video content and shout outs like this one. Shout out to you, Matt. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming up with this video idea, especially on the most recent live stream that we did. Matt was really asking a lot of good, hard-hitting questions. So were some other people as well. So shout out to Veronica and to Hollister74 and a lot of individuals who are really contributing to that conversation. This is why this video is being here today. So thank y'all for that. And speaking of the Perk Squad, I do weekly forecasts, like weekly tarot forecasts on the Perk Squad. So everybody on there gets to every Monday get a 3-card spread about what to look forward to for the week and some spiritual guidance about what's coming that week. And y'all, I gotta say, I did not follow the guide's advice very well. I thought I was, but you know how you get good advice and you're doing your best with it, and then somewhere along the way you realize, crap, I must have fallen off the wagon a little bit there in terms of following the advice, and it backfires on you. Yeah, well, that's what happened to me. So here I'm gonna put up the post somewhere on the screen. Maybe I'll lean over here so I can put it over there on the screen, of what this week's post was, what this week's reading was. So let's look at that. Hey Perk Squad, here's the forecast for this week. This one is brief and simple. Just let go this week and see how things go when you simply ride the wave without trying to control it. Things are not what they seem, and you could be blocking some great opportunities, whether they be for rest, career, love, etc., by trying to think and plan too much. Let spirit take the wheel for a bit. Let go. Yeah, so that's what it said. But apparently on Wednesday, before all the Thanksgiving stuff was going down, I got lost a little bit there. I started to try to do everything at once. I started to try to spread myself too thin, and I found myself Wednesday night trying to cook for Thursday the next day, trying to talk to a friend on the phone, trying to get some stuff ready around the house, and this is after a really long day and after 2 days of only sleeping 4 hours each night. So my brain wasn't in the right place. And y'all, look at what the hell I managed to do to my hands. Yeah, look at these pictures here. Yeah, so apparently when my brain was gone and I was doing too much, I decided, let me take a casserole out of the oven, 350-degree oven, with my bare ass hands. I forgot to grab the oven mitts, acting like I've never cooked before in my life. Yeah, that was some of the worst pain I've ever felt. And that entire night was a complete and utter shit show. And so this is why we get the weekly guidance from the spirit guides, okay? This is why When they give guidance, we are to listen to it, to heed it. And that is why I am doing a video today that does not require me shuffling tarot cards. That is why I'm doing a video today where I just get to talk to y'all and show some clips and things like that. Because I just need a little bit longer for these to heal. They've been healing for 2 days and they've come a long way and I'm very happy about it. But I just need a little bit more time. So, yeah, Perk Squad, listen to the messages and don't do like what I did. I swear. And anybody that wants to be able to see those messages every week, those weekly horoscopes, forecasts, whatever you want to call them, then again, down there is the blue join button for the Perk Squad, and there's also a link in the description box below you can copy and paste into a browser. So, anywho, let's get into this. Of course, I have a handy dandy sticky note here that gives me all the insights from everything that I wrote down during that live stream when people were requesting this video. And I'm just going to show the clip here of when we were doing the live stream and the request was made, and I decided that I would write this little sticky note right here. So I'm going to roll that for you. You're like, no, please keep going on the numbers. I'm taking notes. Okay, well, that solidifies. Hold on, let me take a note. Let me get my little sticky notes and take a note here. Handy dandy sticky notes here. You started with saying you're going to write down about this video idea that Matt and Valerie are talking about. You started with that. Don't get distracted about cleaning up sticky notes right now. You're in the middle of a live. This is not the time for cleaning, bitch. Okay, so, angel numbers vid. Okay, clip from live. Okay, about repeating numbers 1 through 0, because it goes to 9 and then 0. And then anything else, I'll just put another line here that'll remind me I need to fill this in with other ideas about that video topic, and then I can write in my other ideas about what else would be relevant to share on a video like that. Alrighty, so here we are, ready to dive in and go ahead and get into the meat and taters of this video here. And I reckon what we'll start out with is kind of defining some meanings for the more common numbers people see. People usually are seeing repeating numbers like the 111 or the 444 or things like that. And so here, in terms of the angel number meanings, for those, here's the meanings of the repeating numbers for people who are curious when they're seeing those all the damn time. Let's see, Matt says, I have a question. I'm seeing all kinds of angel numbers all the time. It's been like that for a while. Does that mean I'm aligned or that I'm missing something that the universe is trying to tell me? Ooh, good question. Usually, I just take that as some sort of a sign. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sign of perfect alignment or a sign of, whoa, you're way off, get the fuck back on your path. I usually just take it as a nudge of, hey, we're here and we're trying to drop a message. And so a lot of times with me, I tend to have some sort of system for what the numbers mean for me, so that if I see it, I can know, okay, this is kind of where they're going with this. So like, for examples, if I see a lot of ones repeating, I know it's them telling me, stop thinking negatively, stop thinking fear-based, anxiety-based, try to cleanse your thoughts out and be more positive. I know if I'm seeing twos, they're saying, everything is working out, everything's going to be okay for everybody involved, just ride the ride, have some trust. I know if I'm seeing a lot of repeating threes, they're telling me, okay, okay, try to lighten things up a little bit, try to communicate better, know that you're surrounded by the Holy Trinity of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and if there's any help that you need, ask them specifically for that. I know if I'm surrounded by 4s, they're telling me, okay, the angels are around you, they're here, they're supporting you, they're answering what it is that you've called them to do. So if you have anything else, put it out there right now. Connect to them right now. What do you need? Make it known and open up. I know if I'm seeing a lot of repeating 5s, they're telling me, okay, buckle up. Shit's about to get wild. It's getting wild for the better, but it's about to get wild. So just so you know, expect a lot of movement here, okay? I know if they're giving me a lot of repeating 6s, which I don't get quite as often, but that's like, okay, we need to balance here. Chill, which I know I need a lot of balance, but they don't give me a lot of 6s, probably because my brain would be like, are they saying 666? Ah! And clutch my pearls, but really they're saying, okay, we got to keep everything more balanced. Let's even things out. Don't be quite so worried about all the material shit. Try to pull your focus away from obsessing over that. I know when they give me repeating 7s, I'm sorry if I'm going on and people are like, whoa, shit, bitch, I didn't want you to go this far, but I feel like I have to finish it out. I know when they're giving me repeating 7s, they're telling me, okay, keep going, tap into great mystery, tap into source energy, tap into that God energy, and keep going. You're on the right track. I know when they give me repeating 8s, they're like, okay, you're getting into your abundant stream. We're trying to send you some abundance. Open. Be more receptive to it. Don't block your abundance by thinking thoughts that are against it, by thinking about lack and what you don't have and what you wish you had instead and all of that. Don't block your abundance with that. We're trying to send it through. And so they're giving me that like wake up call. I know when they give me triple 9s or repeating 9s, they're being like, okay, it's really time for you to make sure that you're moving forward with your purpose, with your mission. It's time to really make sure that you're doing that. Are you getting lost into the weeds and anything else? We need you to stay focused on that mission. Come on, you need to help people. Make sure you're helping. Be helpful. And so I know that if I'm getting a lot of repeating 0s, they're like, okay, time to meditate and tune in. We need you to tune back in, tune your radio dial back in. We're trying to send a message. Pick it up here, pick it up. So, I have different kind of numbering systems, and based on what I'm seeing, it kind of helps me know what they're trying to tell me, so I don't have to just worry, is this a good sign? Is this a bad sign? Is this a this or that? It's got content to it. Now, when it comes to numbers and their significance and the signs around numbers, it's not just angel numbers, that people refer to. There are all kinds of things that people refer to with signs by numbers, and things like numerology can come into play. So with numerology, there's meanings attached to the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all of them. So in numerology, just to kind of give a brief overview of those, like I did in the clip there with the angel numbers, 0s are usually tending to mean intuition and communication with the divine. 1s are usually intending to mean leadership and being the front runner and being in charge and diving right in, all of that kind of I'm first type of energy. 2s, a lot of the time, are, it's a couple's number. It's a pair. It's a lot about love. And it's also about intuition as well. But love is a big thing with 2s in numerology. In numerology with 3s, you're going to see lightness and laughter and communication, cool things like that. The 4s are going to be a much more structured number. It's going to be a lot more about organization and getting your ducks in a row, things like that. The 5s in numerology are kind of the wild card, the more, okay, things are about to be speeding off. Adventure time is here. There's a lot that could be happening. Sixes in numerology usually are kind of a family number, that family togetherness connection, things like that, home and children. Sevens are a very mystical number, mystical meaning spiritual, but also mystical meaning mysterious. Eights in numerology are all about that style and stability and abundance, sometimes about money and things like that. And then the nines are kind of the way to end it all. I mean, nines are the final chapter in numerology. It's kind of tying things together, bringing endings to things, coming full circle, stuff like that. And sometimes it's a charitable number too. So there's a lot of different types of meanings out there, and we'll talk about a little bit more because we've already given some insights into angel numbers. There are also some insights into numerology that we just mentioned, but then just Googling numbers. Can you just Google a number and get a meaning from that? Yeah, there's that too. So it might be like, whoa, okay, hold on. You're telling me all these different numbers and all these different meanings for all of these numbers. How the fuck am I supposed to know what it means when I'm seeing numbers? Which meaning is it? What signs do I go with and do I use? Oh, we'll talk about that too. So, yeah, let's look at these clips and get a few of those questions answered. I tend to like that book by Doreen Virtue, even if she's gone back on everything she said, and she says she doesn't support this stuff anymore, believe in this stuff anymore. I still tend to tell my spirit guides, like, okay, these numbers in her book, that's what I'm using to communicate with you. So if you want me to know a certain message that happens to be associated with one of the meanings in her book, please show me that number, because that's how I'll be able to cross-reference, especially if it's an odd number like 313 that you're mentioning, Water Lily, instead of just all ones or all twos or all, like whatever. So I'll look things up like that all the time. And yeah, Caitlin, that's what Alma does. About being so many different meanings and stuff, how you said Google the number and whatever explanation you're drawn to is the one meant for you. Alma kind of does that sometimes she'll be like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of, 27. Let me just Google 27, and the first thing that comes up to my awareness is what I'll go with, kind of thing. And so, yeah, people can develop their own systems. The thing is, with any of these kinds of divination systems, people like to make you think that there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, but there really isn't. What you do is you make a code book of communication between you and your guides. Y'all agree on that and use the code book. You could say, guides, every time you want me to calm down, make me think about milk or show me something about milk. And lo and behold, you'll end up be living life, doing your thing, and seeing milk come up at random times and be like, oh shit, they're telling me to calm down or whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter. You come up with a code book of whatever, and then that's what they're like, okay, that's how you want me to communicate with you. That's how you're going to make sure we're on the same page. Okay, I'll do it that way. So if you want to say, okay, these are the numbers, I want to go with a classic angel numbers type of thing, like what I was talking about is a very classic angel numbers type of thing, then you can go with that. If you want to go a different route and go the Google route or something, then you can tell your spirit guides, okay, we're just going to do the Google route, where if you start sending me repeating numbers, I'm going to go Google it, and the first number that comes up, what is the spiritual significance of 27 or whatever, and the first number that comes up, I'm going to, thing that comes up, I'm going to read it. And so that's going to be the system, spirit guide. So if you want me to know, that's how I'm going to do, that's fine too. So whatever, as long as you're creating a system and y'all, and y'all agree on it, it's like there's an understanding of the system that's created, you can do it however you want. People that are like, there's a right way and a wrong way, fuck that noise. There's not a right way and a wrong way. The only way that there's a right way and a wrong way, in my opinion, is when it comes to safety measures with divination. So there is a right way and a wrong way there, because if you're like, Spirit, tell me what I want to know. When is my grandma gonna die? Blah, blah, blah. And stuff like that. Yeah. Without asking questions like that, and without any kind of like spiritual protection or any kind of thing around that, and having a low vibration while you do it, no regard to like protection and being of the light and stuff like that, yeah, that's the wrong way to do it. You're gonna fuck yourself up. That's not safe. So safety stuff, there's a right way and a wrong way. But outside of that, like the actual meanings of things and connecting something to something else, you can create your own. So that is possible, and that is okay. So now you kind of getting into the groove of how this works, seeing that it's not so confusing after all, and you have a lot of power and control in how this works for you, because spirituality is a very personal practice. It's very individual. Sure, there's guidelines, theories behind things and whatnot, but we get to choose our own personal way, our own path, our own style, and we get to forge our own connections. So it's not that intimidating if you get to think of, I get to be the kind of master, I get to be the magician card in the tarot to kind of get the insights through the guides and then put that out into the world the way that feels right to me. So I hope that takes some of the pressure off there. Now I'm going to play this other clip too, because here was a really good question on, okay, what if I'm getting numbers that are like 4-digit numbers or bigger? You know, in the Angel Numbers book, it goes up through 999, 999. In numerology, it's just the 1 through 0, basically 1 through 9 and 0. And of course, numbers reduce down. So if you had 11, it reduces down to 2 because 1 plus 1 is 2. Things like that. And so it's like, well, what do you do if it's, you know, the numbers are 4 digits, 5 digits, 6 digits, long numbers like that that you keep seeing repeating? How do you handle those kinds of things? Look at this clip. Hollister74. I would love to know if 1203 has a significance as an angel number. Technically, in the angel number system, it stops at 999. It doesn't go to quadruple digits. How they tend to interpret that is if there's any portion of that number that seems to resonate a lot, that, you know, narrow your focus into that portion, or to take 2 and 2 and look up 12 and look up 3. So it depends on what you're kind of called to when you see a number that's higher than a 3-digit number. Okay, so does that clear things up a little bit? All of this stuff in this video, it's really, again, it's just meant to be kind of a guide. It's like a 101, little beginners kind of thing. It's just a way to kind of get our juices flowing in our brains to be thinking about what all we can do using numbers as signs, what all we can do to have numbers be the way we interpret signs from our guides. Because a lot of people all the time are like, I wish I could do tarot, but I feel like I don't know how to interpret what my guides are saying through the cards, or I wish I could do this or wish I could do that, but I don't know the ways to interpret what my guides are saying. How do I know what my guides are trying to tell me? And so that's really what spurred this entire conversation, is people wanting to know, how do I interpret what my guides are trying to tell me? How do I interpret the signs, and what do I do with them? And so this video is just kind of giving you some thoughts and some insights and some ideas into how you might be able to use numbers to kind of create your own way of communicating with your guides or understanding the signs that they're sending to you. And again, like I've mentioned in the clips, you can kind of have some conversations with them, like through meditation or through prayer, where you're saying, hey, let's develop a system here. I'd really like to start communicating with you through numbers, because I think that maybe that's a way I could understand what you're trying to tell me a little bit better. Let's do it this way, or let's do it that way. Let's use these, or let's use those, or things like that. You can develop that type of system. Demystify this process. It doesn't have to be just psychics that can commune with the divine and they know what they're saying, and all the rest of us are mere peons that don't know anything and can't do anything. Like, no. We all have some ability to communicate with our own guides and get some signs and meanings out of that. We can all do that. You don't have to be some high and mighty person doing this as your full-time job to be able to do that. And really wanting to demystify that process for y'all. So here's some examples that I'd like to share as me using numbers as signs for my guides. Because actually, in case you didn't know, and many of you might not, that's kind of how I really started getting into a lot of this. So I first picked up a tarot card back in 2013. So at the time of filming this video, that's about 8 years ago. A long time ago. And at that time, I was just using tarot cards where I would have a deck and I would pull one card, just one card, and I would read the meaning of that card in the book that the cards came with, because tarot cards usually come with some kind of a book that shows the meaning of each card. So I would pull one card and I would read the meaning. And that's how I would do it. And I got to the place of, I'm like, well, how do I help other people with this? Like, that feels limiting. I don't really know what to do. And that's when I started using numbers for signs. And it happened without me really trying to do it. I just started noticing, why am I seeing repeating ones everywhere, repeating fours everywhere? I'm seeing it on the clock all the time. I'm seeing it on people's license plates as I'm driving to work or home from work. I'm seeing it on billboards, commercials, all kinds of things. What does this mean? This is just, it feels too weird to be seeing this and it just be by chance. And for me, that was true. It was my guides trying to awaken me to have a way to communicate with them. And so after doing that for a while, that's when I started reading Uno cards. So some of the OGs here have seen me read Uno cards, like use Uno cards as tarot cards. Some of y'all have seen me do that, because that's actually where I started with it, is I got used to doing the numbers and knowing what the numbers meant. So I was like, well, hey, why can't I get an Uno deck and just take out all the things like wild card and reverse and, all that stuff, and just use the deck to pull some cards, and whenever I see what number sequences they're pulling up, that'll help me know what they're trying to tell me and what they mean. So I started using Uno decks to get some messages and things like that. That is literally where it all began. And it just morphed from there. Once I got comfortable with the Uno cards, I went back into tarot and started expanding what I did with tarot. And that really helped me kind of take it off to the whole next level. So it's okay if you can use this as a bit of a stepping stool, little blocks here leading us down the path, getting a little bit closer and a little bit bigger and a little more grand as we're going along. That's okay. That's okay to start small. We all start small. A lot of us do. So that's one thing. And another example that I wanted to mention to y'all, because I think of this as a really big pivotal point for me. A lot of you don't know about what I had to go through with my little puppy Izzy. So when y'all watch the B-rolls at the end of all my videos and y'all see my little chihuahuas and my chihuahua shenanigans, then y'all see my 3 puppies. You see my brown chihuahua Scooter, who's a 10-year-old boy, and you see my gray chihuahua Bodie, who's a 6-year-old boy. But then you also see my tan, little chunky chunk, skin roll chihuahua, and she's a little girl. She's 5 years old. Back in 2018, my ex actually sued me for custody of her. And I was really distraught because he had just broken up with me, and I had to move out of the house and out of the state because I was living with him in Alabama, and I had to move out of the house and out of the state back to South Carolina, move all my stuff that weekend. Alma, my sister, came down and helped me do it, and we just filled up both of our cars and moved all my stuff that weekend back to South Carolina to my parents' house. And at that time, he had purchased one of our 4 dogs, and I had purchased 3 of our 4 dogs. Well, I got sued for Izzy, like literally in court. He went and paid for one of the most expensive attorneys in the area, and threatened to sue me first. And I was really scared, and I was crying, and I was frantic, and I was like, he knows I don't have the money for a lawsuit. He knows I don't have the money to fight this, so I'm just gonna have to give her up because I can't afford to fight this, and it was just, I felt like, is that an abuse of power? Like, that can't be fair that somebody could just get away with something just because they could afford to. I was just totally distraught, and I was praying and asking for signs and asking for help to be like, should I just fold and give her to him? Or, should I try to fight this? Like, what do I do? What do I do? And I started getting my number signs. I got 77 a lot, and 77 is a go for it number. I got 222 a lot, which is a number that's like, everything's gonna work out for everybody involved. Have the faith, it's gonna be okay, kind of thing. And I got the 5s a lot, about, all right, buckle up, this is gonna be a wild one, okay? This is gonna be a wild one. But like I said, I mostly was getting the 7s, the 77s, the go for it number. And so I was like, that doesn't feel like a just give her up number. That's a go for it number. And I'm like, but how? How am I going to go for it? I don't have the money. And I'm like, spirit guides, how do I go for it if I don't have the money? Please help me understand. Please help me, help me, help me. And as I was saying that, I went out on a limb, like, well, let me just, start talking to some attorneys, some civil attorneys that deal with property and things like that, because in my state, dogs are seen as property. And so I was like, let me go to some attorneys and talk with them about, what we need to see here. There's not a whole lot of couples where you live together and you have in writing, I am in writing saying this dog belongs to this one of the 2 of us in our household. And should we separate, this dog will go with so-and-so. There's not a lot of formal written signed off arrangements and contracts like that in couples, not often, and things like that. And so of course they defer to other components, like, was this dog a gift? Is there proof that this dog was a gift? Who paid for the care and maintenance of the dog? Who paid for the dog themselves? All of these kind of things go into it. And I was looking for these numbers and just praying my heart out, and I followed the numbers literally on cars. I was following numbers that stuck out to me while driving until they led me to a specific attorney's office. And I went to that attorney by following literally numbers on cars, and wound up in his office. He allowed me to have a free consultation with him, and talked about what he felt like was strong or not strong in the potential case, and what he would advise to do, and all of that. And he says this happens often, where somebody who has a lot of money will file suit to somebody who can't afford it, and that's a way of what he called legal bullying. And he said that based on everything that I had, that I had a case and he could help me with it, but he gave me his retainer price. And it was high. It was high, y'all, because attorneys aren't cheap. They're just not. And it seems so silly to have to go through this, but when you don't have children of your own and your fur children are your children, it really just feels like I've got to do something. So for people who think that that's ridiculous and they just would have given her away, then, that's fine. You could make that decision. But that didn't feel right for me. And I was following the signs for my guides for me. And so I kept praying about it, and that week, tell me, when does this ever happen? That week, when I went in the mailbox, I had a check in the mail from the IRS saying they had made a mistake on my previous year's taxes, and here's the refund that they owed me from their mistake. When does that ever happen? Literally, have you ever heard of that in your life? And guess what? That check was the same amount as the attorney's retainer. The same amount. So I needed a certain number, and I told my guides about that number, and they found a way to get me that number and took it as a sign, signed through the numbers. This time it was money amounts, was the sign through numbers. So I took that there and retained him as an attorney, and I kept following the number signs where they would bring up numbers and things, and I was like, oh, maybe I should look up that in the vet records, and oh, they're bringing up these numbers, I could do this. And so every time of the way, if I would have a thought like, would it be helpful to look into this? If I didn't see any repeat numbers that were my usual numbers, I wouldn't bother to look into it. But if I was like, is this something? I'm thinking about this. Would it be useful to look in this thing? And I started getting a lot of numbers of my repeating numbers about it. I'm like, oh, that's a sign. That's a sign then. Yes, I should look into that. And I should go, oh shit. Look, y'all fell down as I was talking. Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm telling you, the energy is intense right now. The energy is intense here. But yeah, it told me I should follow that white rabbit. I should go down that hole if I was getting repeating numbers after having a certain idea. So that's kind of how I would know. It's kind of like that game where it's like, hot versus cold. Okay, you're getting close to the object. Hot, 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 hot. Oh, you're getting further away. Cold, 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 cold. And it felt like that, where I'd have thoughts and I'd say, show me my number signs if this is the way to go. If I didn't get them, that told me information. So I'd come up with other thoughts and be like, if this is the way you're trying to lead me, please show me some number signs to let me know. And they'd show me my repeating numbers and number signs, and it helped me know that that's the way to go. And I kept following those numbers to collect everything that I needed to collect and call all the numbers I needed to call and do all the stuff I needed to do with me and my attorney. And at the end of all of that, this took about half a year. At the end of all of that, we went to court, we had all of our things, and I won custody of little Izzy. And the judge saw fit that everything that I said, everything I did, all the proof that I had was sufficient to show that I was the true owner, and the judge ruled in my favor. I didn't think I could do it. I was so beaten down, and I followed the numbers. I followed the signs through numbers over a grueling, hard 6 months. And I'm telling you that's one of the big signs that I use with my guides. So just letting you know, for anybody out there that you want to have some more insight from your guides, you want to be able to communicate with them more, you don't know kind of where that can go, where that can take you, how you can use it, I hope this video has helped to give just a little bit of insight as to what numbers can mean, how you can devise a system to do that for yourself, and have some examples from me over like real life stuff. This is what I've done. This is how I've used it. This is the proof in the pudding for me in my own personal spiritual practice with them. And I just think it's worth sharing. I think that it can be empowering to a lot of people out there that feel like they don't have the ability to understand and interpret what their guides are trying to say, to connect with their guides and to get messages. A lot of people feel like they can't do that by themselves. And I just want to empower people that you can. And you may start small, and it may take a while to build up to that, but it's okay. It's okay. We all start small and we all build up from there. That's a part of the process. Practice is what gets people to that level. And so I just encourage people to give it a try and see where it takes you. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful. I know I rambled a long time. That's what I do. But I look forward to being able to come at you again with a new video soon. And I know that my hands will be healed up in no time. My hands will be healed up in no time. Already 2 days later, they're doing a lot better, a lot better. And so I'm very thankful for that, and looking forward to coming at you soon. And you know what this means? Don't be a stranger. Come back and see me. And I will talk at you later. Bye, love you. Love you. Bye, y'all. What is that weird little smile? What's going wrong with your mouth? I don't even know if this can focus because it's so close to my face. What's going on with your mouth? Girl, fix yourself.